Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving into Daniel Kahneman's game-changing book, Thinking, Fast and Slow. Seriously, this is one of those books that completely flips the script on how we understand our own minds and the choices we make every single day.
All right, let's jump right in with a little puzzle. Have a look at this. Now, there's an answer that feels right almost instantly. Go ahead, just for a second. What does your gut tell you?
If you thought 10 cents, you are not alone. That is the vast majority of people's first answer. It's your mind's fast, automatic system just jumping on what seems like an obvious, easy solution. It feels neat, simple, and it's wrong.
The correct answer is actually 5 cents. Let's do the math real quick. If the ball is 5 cents and the bat is $1 more than the ball, the bat is $1.05. Add them together, you get $1.10. That little mental gear shift you just felt from the easy answer to the right one, that's the entire secret of this book.
You see, for hundreds of years, especially in economics, there was this core belief that we humans are basically rational creatures, that we think things through, we're logical, and we always act in our own best interest.
They even had a name for this ideal human, Homo economicus. This is the person who is a perfect calculating machine, right? Someone who always weighs the pros and cons and makes the best possible choice to get what they want. It's a nice idea anyway.
But then along came Daniel Kahneman and his research partner Amos Tversky. And through years of really clever experiments, they showed that this model just doesn't hold up. We are not the rational beings we like to think we are, not even close.
So here's the big idea. Kahneman says our mind isn't one single thing. It's more like a drama playing out in our heads with two very different characters who are constantly interacting. So let's meet the stars of the show. You've got System 1. This is the hero of the story. It's fast, it's automatic, it's your gut reaction. Then you have System 2. This is the slow, careful, and honestly, kind of lazy detective who has to be convinced to get up and do the hard work of actual thinking. And this quote right here, this is key. Our logical brain, System 2, takes real energy to use, so most of the time, it's just coasting. It basically takes whatever System 1 suggests and just rubber stamps it, and that's where we get into trouble.
Because we rely so heavily on that fast, intuitive system, we end up making these predictable, systematic mistakes in our judgment. Kahneman calls them cognitive biases.
For example, let's talk about the availability heuristic. This is just a fancy way of saying that our brain has a glitch. It confuses how easily we can remember something with how likely that thing is to happen. This is exactly why so many people are afraid of flying, but perfectly fine with driving. A dramatic plane crash story sticks in our memory, right? It's vivid, it's emotional, so our brain inflates the risk, even though statistics tell us we are way, way safer in a plane than on the highway. Then you've got the anchoring effect, which is incredibly powerful. This is our brain's tendency to get stuck on the very first piece of information it hears. That first number becomes an anchor that pulls all of our other judgments towards it.
And you can see this play out all the time in the real world. In any kind of negotiation, whoever puts the first number on the table often wins because that number sets the entire context for the rest of the conversation.
Kahneman and Tversky also came up with prospect theory, an idea so big it won them the Nobel Prize, and it revealed a powerful truth about what actually motivates us. We don't think in absolute terms, we think in terms of gains and losses from whatever our current situation is.
And at the very heart of this theory is something called loss aversion. The simple idea here is that the pain of losing something feels about twice as strong as the pleasure of gaining that exact same thing. Losing $50 feels way worse than finding $50 feels good. And that simple imbalance explains so much about human nature. So let's just do a quick recap here. We've got our brains confusing easy to remember with easy to happen. We get stuck on the first number we hear. We're terrified of losses more than we love gains. These are just a few of the predictable ways our fast, intuitive System 1 can lead us down the wrong path.
But as huge as this work is, it's not perfect. Like any truly great scientific theory, it had to face its own reality check.
Back in the 2010s, the world of psychology went through this massive shakeup called the replication crisis. Basically, scientists were trying to redo a bunch of famous old experiments and found that, well, they couldn't get the same results. And some of the studies that Kahneman cited in his book fell into that category.
And this is what's so amazing. In a move that showed incredible scientific integrity, Kahneman himself stepped forward and owned it. He publicly said, "I place too much faith in underpowered studies." He admitted he was wrong,
which, if you think about it, is the ultimate testament to the book's central idea. Even the smartest among us are still human and fallible.
So, if our minds are this flawed, what's the point? What can we actually do about it? And why does any of this matter for our day-to-day lives?
Well, the key takeaway here is not that we should stop trusting our gut. It's about learning when to question it. Kahneman talks about developing decision hygiene. It means learning to recognize the situations where System 1 is likely to mess up, and then consciously slowing down to let the logical System 2 take a look.
On an even bigger scale, these ideas are the bedrock of something called nudge theory. The idea is that instead of forcing people to make better choices, you can just design systems that make the better choice the easier choice, like automatically enrolling people in a savings plan or putting the healthy food right at eye level.
And that leaves us with one final crucial question to think about. Now that you know about the two competing systems in your head, which one do you think is in the driver's seat for you right now? Because simply being aware that you can ask that question, that's the first and most important step to making a better choice.